then the ones that do RAID 5, it's, I'm not going to give you a huge technical explanation. RAID 5 is one of the better ones because it allows the most amount of space while still allowing a lot of redundancy. That requires 4 hard drives, so it's a little pricey. But it's worth it if you really paranoid about data loss. And you have to make it spend.
Whatever you do, I would say stay away from RAID 0 unless you know exactly what you're doing. RAID 0 only gives you speed, but it doesn't give you any protection at all.
What about RAID 1?
RAID 1 is you have 2 disks and they're mirroring. So that gives you a little bit of protection there because you have 2 disks that have the exact same data. So if one fails, you still have the other one.
However, that also means you only have the same amount of data as one disk. It's just copying itself to the other one.
Right.
And bad data in.
Bad data. Exactly.
It's garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, and what about the other RAID systems?
The only other main RAID system that you would use is RAID 5. It uses a minimum of 4 hard drives to have any real redundancy to it. Basically, it splits up the data being written amongst all 4 hard drives. It writes parity data to other things, and I can go into huge technical explanations. But it allows for 1 disk failure to happen, and you still be able to continue using the hard drives. It allows 3 disks worth of data to exist. From a technical and practical perspective, it's one of the best spots to go into if you're not investing in like a data center or something.
Any questions about desktop stuff? Yes. Any questions?
I happen to use Device Mapper or software right now. What's the kernel level stuff? Do you have like mirroring actual partitions, or do you tend to mirror the block devices themselves?
I usually do the devices themselves. I usually do it all in hardware. I find software to be a bit slow and extremely finicky. If something happens with the kernel, something doesn't load up perfectly, it's unlikely but possible data can get corrupted, which is why I don't do it inside myself. We should have a huge problem, especially these days when these kernels are really robust. There's a lot of errors you get. You'll usually shut it before anything more happens.
I'm pretty much the same way. I prefer hardware. To kind of put this in layman's terms for everybody else, there's 2 ways to do a RAID. You can either have your computer do it in software, or you can have a dedicated card that takes care of all that for you. Generally, I find that the hardware stuff is a lot more, if you have that dedicated card, it's a lot more reliable, and because you're offloading it to basically system design to do that sort of thing. Whereas you can kind of have some issues, it's going to be a little slower if you have your primary computer system doing a lot of the work, and if you have an OS crash or something like that, the risk is higher. So that's one of the things. And again, if you have a SAN, which is that separate box, that's hardware. It's taken care of, so your computer's not doing anything. One thing we didn't touch on last time was mobile devices. Basically we've got these nice, tiny, but really powerful computers that have our lives in them. I know that this is kind of my brain. If I didn't have this, and I actually didn't once for a week when it got stolen, I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going next. I don't know who's calling me. I can't call anybody. My email is gone. Facebook is in and out. But there are nice backup tools. Again, the iPhone, it's pretty much, you can do the cloud thing. You can also hook up using iTunes. So if you go into your information screen, you do backup. And you can even encrypt it with a password if you want. Just don't forget the password because then you can't do anything with it. Then you're screwed. But again, it's one of those things where you just hit sync and it backs up all of your data for you. If you have an Android device, there's a whole bunch of apps on Google Play, and this is actually for iOS. Hopefully, I think it's our next one. Yes. So My Backup Pro is one of many apps if you've got an Android device, and then obviously there's a whole bunch of related stuff you can also look through as well. But again, what's really nice about Android is you can pick and choose from a bunch of things. Obviously read the reviews because some are probably probably better than others, and you'll probably want to, get some feedback on that before you actually, trust your data with this sort of thing. And again, there's different options here. You can back up to the cloud, you can back up locally. If your Android device has a memory card, you can copy your information to that. And of course, if you're synced up with Google, Google says, don't worry, we're taking care of everything. Take that with a grain of salt.
Finally.
Yes.
That is the biggest thing I don't like about cloud storage. Yes. You ask where your data is, and they sometimes can't tell you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Related to this, it is recommended you don't exclusively back up stuff to your SD card, because then, oh look, my phone got stolen, and then it's all gone. So,
The other problem with the cloud too is sometimes legal stuff, and not legal stuff like the EULA, which you really should look at too, as we said before. But sometimes people do illegal things and store illegal stuff in these data centers, and it might not be you, but you might still have a problem with that because you're sharing your space with God knows who else. And it has happened a couple of times where, some Russian hacker front is storing their stuff in Virginia, and the feds come in and say, I want that whole rack of servers. And they take the whole rack of servers. And, you'll have, a business that has their same stuff on that rack of servers, it's gone. And you call up your server, your server hosting company and say, hey, what happened? Feds took it. Sorry.
it happens at the Amazon.
And with the feds and with federal government court cases, they take a sweet long time
Of course.
to do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And with lawyers, usually no interest to a book, but they'll try to stall as long as possible to even delay the inevitable.
Thankfully, these days, data centers have gotten a bit better. They do more periodic backups, and can usually get you back to sometimes a little bit of data loss, but get you back up before long. So it's not bad convenient as it was. It's still annoying.
Also, check your stuff too, because sometimes it's free, sometimes it's not. Sometimes they'll charge you a little bit more for that. But just make sure that you're covered. Or if you're really paranoid like I am, I always download a little copy to keep somewhere.
Is it the same stuff like Dropbox?
Yes, absolutely. Dropbox is actually. I use Dropbox. I love Dropbox. I don't trust Dropbox.
The Dropbox is one of those ones you have to really read the EULA.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't use Dropbox.
What's quickie about it?
Well, I can tell you the big one.
Yeah.
There's basically what's happening there is your data is not exactly private. Okay. Now, yes, you do have your personal Dropbox, and it is protected by a password, but all the encryption and all that protection is all one big shared key. The idea for that is if you need the presumed idea is that if you need help from somebody at Dropbox, they can go in the back door and they can, oh, here's your file. There was an incident. Was it last year or the year before? It was about a year ago, where somebody screwed up in software, and the login system was broken. So anybody could say, oh, I'm Isaiah Beard at gmail.com, and I don't know what the password is, so I'm just going to say password, and it would let me in. And that happened for about 2 hours. So pretty much anybody who knew what your password was, I mean, not your password, your email address, just log right in and see your file. And Dropbox caught it and they shut it down, but about an hour to do it. So you got to be careful with that. I mean, if you're going to store stuff on there that's sensitive, encrypt it, or don't store sensitive stuff on there at all. So, I mean, I had a different service that recently shut down, and that's another thing too. Companies can go out of business, so be careful with that. And so that